Good afternoon. My name is Jordan Vega, and this is my reflection assignment. We'll start off with what does public speaking mean to you? Public speaking to me is a direct representation of who you are as an individual and the knowledge you possess at the time when you are presenting. What are at least three fundamentals of effective public speaking? So for me, three fundamentals of public speaking that I believe are important in effective public speaking are avoiding ethocentrism, using audience centeredness, and appropriate use of supporting materials such as statistics, testimony, and examples to establish credibility, right? So those are all important because establishing credibility will allow your audience to essentially take in the utmost information that you are presenting to them. Avoiding ethocentrism will prevent you from upsetting any type of demographics in your audience, and using audience centeredness appropriately is keeping your audience in mind when you're creating your speech. Let's see. Please explain ethics and public speaking. What is the relationship between ethics and public speaking? So, the correlation between ethics and public speaking begins with knowing what is and isn't appropriate to say to your audience, right? Ethics can directly impact the effectiveness of public speaking by inhibiting credibility or establishing credibility with your target audience, right? So that's very important. Uh, why is using proper and professional language important when it comes to public speaking? So, using formal language when public speaking is important because it emphasizes to your audience that you're a knowledgeable individual in the topic you are discussing, and that you're a credible speaker to engage in this type of dialogue with your audience. Why is engagement and connecting with your audience important in relation to public speaking? So, connecting with your audience and promoting engagement is important. Otherwise, your audience will hear your speech, but they probably would have not listened to a word you have said. So, you know, engaging and connecting with your audience through the use of like tone of voice, body language, and like high levels of enthusiasm are all key factors in retaining your audience's attention from beginning to the end of your speech. Let's see. Um, what was your favorite speech and why? So personally, my favorite speech was the persuasive speech because I feel like it's a practice of a type of speech that we will be doing a lot in the nursing profession, which is essential because you're constantly trying to convince people why they should listen to you as their nurse, and why the recommendations that were provided from a physician, right, as far as medication and treatment goes, you're the middleman convincing them why they should follow through with the treatment plan and regimen that the physician has ordered for them. So, that was a very good practice to real life scenarios like that. um let's see, what areas did you do well in, and what other areas could you improve? Let's see. So for me, in terms of public speaking, I believe that I did fairly well in following guidelines, right, for like audience-centered speaking. So whenever I created my speeches, I kept my audience in mind from the moment I was creating a rough draft to the delivery, right? And I feel that an area that I could still improve on is my delivery, right? Maybe it could definitely still be stronger, and knowing your weakness is essential in working on it and improving it, right? So you got to know where you're going wrong to go right at some point in time. Let's see what else. What was the biggest thing or things you learned in this class? So for me, the biggest thing that I feel I learned in this class was just, I guess you could say, the importance of effective speech delivery, right? Because if you're not effectively delivering any of your speeches, then you're essentially wasting your time and you're losing your core audience. So, mastering this, whether it's to speaking to a group of people or a single individual, you always have to keep uh you have to always have to keep things in mind that will always captivate their attention, and you have to simplify things, right? Like you can't use jargon, right? Too much complex terms that will then lose your targeted audience. What key strategies will you apply to your future in terms of public speaking? So, some of the strategies that I will apply in my future in regards to public speaking are the proper use of extemporaneous. I could never pronounce that word, but I'm sure you knew what it meant, and impromptu. Um, so the reason why I believe that those are really good strategies is because of the availability of information that can be available to you at times, right? So you'll have direct access to that type of information, which is when uh extemporaneous would be a good strategy. And then at times where you don't have access to any information, such as a patient's chart, and you have to dig into your memory to recall information we've learned in nursing school, that would be more of a improv scenario where you have to remember something off of the top of your head, such as a diagnosis, typical treatment or medication for that, and possible side effects, right? Patients always want to know what are the side effects to the drugs they're taking. So if you can memorize those and always give those answers off the top of your head, those are great examples of improv when they'll be needed in our careers, right? In nursing careers. So those are both very good strategies. How can you, how can what you learned and experienced in this class help you in your career? So I feel that what I've learned in this public speaking class will help me in my career um, by increasing my level of confidence in public speaking, which will improve my effectiveness in communicating, right? So for me, I never really had a difficult time um, when I have to converse with a single individual, but I do notice once the crowd starts getting a little large, I do start to um get nervous and maybe sometimes speak too much or too quickly. And yeah, that's something I could still work on. So knowing my flaws is step one in the right direction. Um, let's see what else. And then why is time management important when it comes to public speaking? So time management is important because in most scenarios in my career, when you're speaking to an individual or a family or a group of people, we'll always have an allotted amount of time, right? We have 12 hours in a shift. So you have to divide your 12 hours into every individual patient, and you have to provide them the same amount of time, which directly correlates to care, right? And you have to be detailed with each and every one of them. So you only have so much time to spend with them. So you have to make sure you effectively use that little bit of time in the right manner. And yeah, those are my responses to my reflection assignment, and I hope they answered everything correctly. And thank you for your time, Professor, and for all your help and all your knowledge.